Hey you guys, how are you all doing? I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. I had an amazing weekend. But anyway, let me jump straight on into this video. This is going to be almost like a co-mingling video because I'm not going to do two different videos when I'm pretty much talking about the same thing. But because this is a well-known YouTuber, Q, I'm going to use her as an example, and then I may slide on into another part of this video. Q decided that she is going to go back to her husband. And if you're following her, it's Eat with Q. She's a mukbanger, and she decided she would go back to her husband. She says that her and her husband both forgave each other, and they would work on their relationship. Okay, fine. The only issue with that is this man is in another country. He's in another country, and she's going back to Nigeria, where he currently is. I'm assuming he's there right now. But anyway, she's going back to Nigeria. My only concern is it's perfectly okay to forgive someone. Lord knows I have forgiven men for doing the same thing time and time again until I actually had enough. But when is enough enough? How long would a person continue to allow someone to mistreat them? I mean, seriously, we got to really think about that and start considering that. Are we not worth more than waiting on someone else to get themselves together especially when we're talking about grown adults? Why should we continue to wait on them and be unhappy, torture ourselves? Our health is depleting. We're getting high blood pressure. We're getting anxiety. I mean, just stress level is just all out of the place. Body is just all out of place because we've allowed ourselves to become so stressed out. But anyway, back to Q. She decided that she would forgive him. I don't understand what conversations they've had with each other that would make her feel like it is okay to currently go back to him right now. I've heard some of her video, and she's saying, I'm walking in my purpose. I'm walking in my purpose. God desires me to be with my husband. My husband is supposed to be with me. It doesn't matter what anyone says, what anyone thinks. Well, it is quite convenient when a person chooses to use God when it's something that they really want to do. But apparently, this same God didn't tell her to get onto social media and say all of these ruthless things about her husband, some things that he was not doing in the marriage, and some things that was really making her extremely upset that, yes, did warrant her leaving him. I agree with her leaving him. But that same God didn't tell the two of them to reconcile off of social media. But then she gets back on social media. Now, all of a sudden, it's all about God. She's saying, I saw the video that she made, and she says, it doesn't mean that I'm not a Christian because I'm using profanity. It's okay to use profanity sometimes. No, it is not. Do we have the right to go before God and ask for forgiveness? Yes, we can go before God and ask for forgiveness, and His grace and mercy, grants us that forgiveness. However, you're talking about telling people it is okay to do it, and that is wrong. That is totally and completely wrong. But once again, as I've said in another video, she has this thing about herself where when it's convenient for her, she uses God. When everyone is rooting for her, she's okay with them. But how does she know that when folks are warning her, because God, who else does God use? He uses people to say, hey, you're going in the wrong direction. Hey, I don't think you should do this. I think this is a good idea. So he does use people to either prevent you from getting into something or help you get out of something, but you choose not to do it. And after a while, the silence of God gets lower. The voice of God, I should say, gets lower and lower, because he's telling you through people, it's not time. Who's to say that he's, she shouldn't ever get back with him? It is a possibility that at some point she should have gotten back with her husband and could get back with her husband, but they weren't apart long enough. She hasn't been in his country since they split apart. So now all of a sudden they are all in love all over again. Listen, I've been married to a foreigner for 9 years, and I understood what it was like when we were together. We feuded and we argued all of the times. And the moment that we were apart, we were all in love all over again. It was like, I should say I was in love all over again, because he didn't share those same sentiments, or he didn't know how to express it, should I say. So when we were apart, we felt like, okay, we could get back together. But this is a young lady who's going all the way to another country to be with her husband under those circumstances. I will not understand it. She says God has not given her the spirit of fear. She fears nothing. She is not going to put herself in harm's way. She is totally contradicting herself. How could you not? How could she not be putting herself in harm's way when she's going all the way to Nigeria? None of her support system is there, her friends, her family. But she's going all the way to Nigeria. She doesn't know, God forbid, what this man has plotted in his mind to do. But she's going over there. She's not fearing. She's not putting herself in harm's way. But this is the decision that she's chosen to make. The Bible says warning comes before destruction. So people are telling her, I don't think that this is good right now. This is not the right move for you. But she insists. And that's what so many people do. God would warn us. Before I got married to my former husband, I was being warned. People were telling me who he was. I did not want to hear it. This is the man for me. This man is making me feel good. I'm in love. I'm all ooey gooey. I didn't want to hear anything no one else had to say. I completely blocked out what folks were saying because it was what I wanted to happen. I just read a book where this woman talked about how she wanted a mate so badly. She wanted to be married. She began to dream of having a husband and dreaming of this particular type of man. So when she met that particular type of man, she soon realized that, no, this isn't the one for me. But had she not paid attention, she would have walked right on into it. So sometimes we want things so bad, we just ignore every single thing that a person is saying to us. Me personally, that's a bad move for this young lady to go back to Nigeria right now. She's saying it's the will of God for her to be with her husband. As I've said before, there is no scripture in the Bible that says for better or worse, through sickness and in health, nowhere in the Bible. So this is something that she really wants to do. This is something she just simply wants to do. I would rather her say, listen, would y'all please pray for me that I am making the right decision. I truly love my husband. I want to see this work. I don't know if this is what God has planned for me. Because a lot of times we marry people that wasn't in the will of God for our lives. And then we wonder why we are going through purity hell. It doesn't mean that God's grace and mercy cannot and will not shine on that marriage. However, you're going to go through some things depending on that person you're married to, especially if this wasn't the person that God had intended for you to marry. And I know that I've had that experience 2 times where I knew that that was not the plans of God for my life. But at the time, I was in love. I wanted what I wanted, and I sacrificed my own happiness. I sacrificed my happiness in hopes that it would work out. So be very, very careful when you're getting into these relationships. Once you're already in it, let's deal with the first thing. Before you get into it, do thorough investigations. Thorough. I mean, when I tell you, you got to get to know the mama, the daddy, the sister, the brother, the cousins, granduncles, grandaunties. Try to get to know about the family as much as you possibly can, because as I've said before, that is going to be an indication of what you could potentially be getting yourself into. Second part to this is, once you are already married and you go through challenges and you split apart for a while, you have to ask yourself the question, what is warranting us going back together? What is warranting us getting back together with each other? Is it because we want to fulfill the lust of the flesh? If we're Christians, we want to fulfill sexual desires. We can't go without it. Is it for financial gain? Is it for the children? Or is it really truly because God is telling you, okay, you've had some time apart, this has gotten taken care of, that's gotten taken care of, now I can see you two joining back together and becoming one. So I am so concerned for her, and I would hope that someone would let her hear this video. I'm concerned for her because it's almost like I see a little bit of arrogance in her as it pertains to this. This is my life and I'm going to do it my way. But then when things hit the fan, because folks were warning her before, she didn't want to hear it. She got married. Folks were warning her and kind of asking. I knew something was going on. I just couldn't put my fingers on it because she wasn't exposing him. But I knew something was going on. It was just a part of my discernment and just her demeanor. I knew something was not right. And sure enough, she came out with that live video. And then, of course, her husband, he made a live video. But she has got to be willing to listen. I don't care if you're 60, 70 years old and you're in a relationship with your spouse. You have to be willing to listen to someone if they're giving you good wisdom, good sound advice. Be willing to listen. Now, this is the co-mingling part of this video. Speaking about forgiveness. When we offend someone, you would think that the individual would be able to come to you and say, hey, you offended me. I didn't appreciate it when you did this or when you said such, whatever the case may be. Some people will let you know you offended me and I didn't appreciate it. But then you have other folks who will hold and cling on to that offense. When you're around them, you feel the energy, you know that something is different, but because they haven't said anything to you regarding it, you just let it go and go on about your business. But if you know that God is tugging at your heart to get that situation right, it is your duty. Whether they come to you and say something or not, in my opinion, it is your duty to go to that individual and make it right. Make it right by letting them know you apologize for the offense. Make it right so that you could move forward in the things of God and allow your prayers to be answered from God. They may not accept it. You would know if they've accepted it or not, because I've apologized to people and I could tell that they have not let it go. I mean, they would say they have accepted your apology, but it's clear that they have not. Well, guess what? You've done your part and you could wash your hands of it. You don't have to go back to that person 2, 3, 4, 5 times apologizing for the same thing. Once you've sincerely apologized, you are good. Make sure that you're not apologizing because you're expecting things to go back the way they were, because then you're setting yourself up for maybe some hurt and frustration, because you want that relationship to go back to the laughing and the fun and enjoyable times. And that person may not be willing. That person may not ever be willing to let it go and remain the same. But the key is you've apologized. I remembered over 20 years ago, and I'll never forget this. I didn't know the guy had a crush on me. We worked together, and he said something to me, and I told him to kiss my bleep, blah, bleep. He could never get over that. So the remaining time that we worked together, which was like 2 or 3 years later, he would not say a word to me. I offended him, and he did not appreciate that. You may have a sibling, you may have an auntie, uncle, cousin, even your parents, unfortunately. There are some people that holds on to offenses, and they will hold on to it until the day that they die. You have to be okay with that. You have to reconcile within yourself, forgive yourself for what you've done, and be able to move on. Now catch this. There are situations where you could have offended someone, but you were dead point right, dead on the money. You know that you didn't say it to them in a harmful or harsh way, but that's the way they took it. And that thing cringes you, because you go back, you know you need to go back and apologize. But you do it for you. You do it to know that, okay, I offended them, regardless of how I meant it, it still offended them. Let me go back and apologize. Make it right. Get it right. But once again, don't expect for that person to remain the same. If they do, that would be amazing. But chances are they may not. So be careful with the way you say things to people and what you do to people, because it could be the end of your relationship with them. I'm not telling anyone to walk on eggshells, because for some people, it doesn't matter how you say it to them. There are some people in this world that don't want anyone to correct them, don't want anyone refuting anything that they're saying. They don't want anyone that has a difference of opinion. If it's not their way, they don't want to hear it. So be it. If you are calling someone your friend, your true friend, and your family members, you should be able to express yourself. Express yourself. Now, what I've learned, if I've done something to hurt someone, when I apologize, I said, I began to share with the individual what I was going through in that moment. I was advised right after I explained it, now you just apologized to me, and now you're giving me a reason for why you did what you did or said what you said. And I'm like, well, I wanted you to know what frame of mind I was in that even allowed me to go there with you. So I would suggest, before you apologize or after you apologize, and you feel the need to express what you were going through, ask the individual, would you like to hear the frame of mind that I was in and why I said or did what I've said? Because it was not towards you. I was going through something. Would you like to hear it? They may tell you, no, I really don't care to hear it. Be willing and prepared to be okay with that. Be okay with that. But the point is that you cannot close your eyes for the very last time and not make it right with the people that you're able to. There are some people that will not accept your calls. I'm this person. I read the room. I read the person. There are some people that you could call and have a conversation with. And then there are some people that don't want to hear it. You may have to text them, because if you call them, it's going to go left all over again. So you got to know in your heart that you're not just texting because you want to be a coward and not face them head on. Do what's pure and in your heart. Do what you know to do that is right, even if it hurts. Because sometimes when you know you've told someone the right thing, but you got to go back and apologize, it hurts you, because it's like, why am I apologizing for something that I didn't do wrong? I expressed how I felt. My tone was not disrespectful. You got to know that. You got to know what, whether or not your tone was harsh, soft. But when you know your tone was soft, and I've had a situation where I'm like, listen, right now is not the right time, and the individual still didn't want to hear it. This person still proceeded into talking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm hanging up right now because this conversation is about to go left. And that's what I did. But it didn't rest well with me. And I'm talking about from March until now, March 2025, and we're in July 2025. And I'm like, it just didn't rest well with my heart. The closer you get to Christ is like, he's going to nudge at your heart and tell you, okay, this isn't right. Make it right. So I'm out of here, you guys. Please share the video. And if you've not already done so, subscribe to this channel. Always remember, healthy mind, joyful life. Do not allow anyone to distort your peace, joy, or happiness. I'm making a turn on the curve, and the whole phone just started leaning to the side. So it felt like my body was leaning. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for always watching. Thank you for your support. I appreciate everyone who supports me on this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to continue bringing it. I'm going to continue being respectful, and may step on some toes sometimes, some of the things that I say, but most of it, a lot of it, is something I've gone through, something I've seen others go through. In my opinion, everyone has the right to express their opinions, especially regarding things on social media. If you put it on social media, you're opening yourself up for everyone to talk about what's going on with you. Okay, so I'm pulling up in my driveway now. Bye-bye.